Oh, good. Yeah, James also joining us.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. People who are here in person, and as well as people on the screen joining us virtually. This is the October meeting of the technical committee, and suppose you all have the agenda in front of you. If not, you can follow along. We have an extra set at the corner of by the door, and you can pick that up. And the first item on the agenda really is the public hearing for the long-range transportation plan 2050. And this is the required public hearing that we allow the public, to voice any comments, feedback, whatever, despite the fact that we have, throughout the planning process, that we have allow or invite many opportunities for the public to provide their comments along the way and feedbacks and through really surveys and whatnot. So this is kind of the official public hearing for the draft documents that has been put together. And just for the sake of everybody, we have a slide just to show you all before I open up for public comments. And you have many of you who also serve on the project steering committee. You've seen this slide on Wednesday when the PSC met. But just as kind of introduction to the group and people who might not have been at the meeting, a PSC meeting on Wednesday. So we started the process, this planning process, back in March, and then all the way to the point where we are today. We have a draft planning document for the Metropolitan Long-Range Transportation Plan 2050 put together, and there's a lot of components and through different processes with public comments, engagement to arrive to today's point. And we appreciate all the time and effort by the project steering committees. Many of you who are on this technical committee also serve on that committee. And so I thought this could be one slide that kind of capture the different components that have gone into this draft document, from the 5 different focus groups to the time and effort of the project steering committee to many different forms of public outreach and engagement, to the data that we have collected. We have also relied on the consultants for the population projections, and we've done analysis with all this data collected, as well as looking at existing plans, from whether it's the 2017, the last edition of the long-range transportation plan, to a lot of different planning documents related to transportation, on the state, from IDOT, from feds, and so that was taken into consideration when this draft plan was being prepared. Not to say that we've part of the plan, we have set goals and objectives and strategies, performance measures, as well as implementation strategies. So even when this plan is adopted, that we'll set what we want to do for the next 5 years before the next update. But then again, the planning horizon is all the way to 2050. And so today's public hearing is, like I said, is a required step. But then the technical committee will also be considering whether to make a recommendation to adopt this plan to policy committee, which will be meeting next Friday. And so that's kind of the process. We've gone through a lot of work and steps, and actually, although the planning process started in March, actually the staff has begun working on this over a year and a half ago when we were preparing for this planning process. And so we come to kind of tail end of this process. So with that, I don't know if Jan any comments want to make before I open up for public comments.
And my only observation at the moment is that we don't seem to have anyone who's not part of this meeting already on hand. Kind of up to you, Mr. Chairman, as to how long we wait to see if people show up. I have to say this is consistent with past years that we hold these hearings, and we have had some comment during the 45-day comment period, but I'm not expecting that anyone is going to be joining us at this juncture. But if you want to spend a few more minutes just waiting to see if anyone comes along.
Yeah, I'll wait for just a minute or two because we did say that this will be part of the meetings that starts at 10:30. But like you said, we received through the public outreach and engagement, we did receive comments and we took that into those consideration as part of the document.
And of course, all through this process, both the steering committee and members of the technical committee, in some cases they overlap, have had an opportunity to weigh in, as well as we've sent out, intro pieces of the work product and the drafts. And we're finalizing that project now too. And I checked in this morning with Tanya and Anna when she, sort of was available. And we have, I think, Tanya, you said about 60 to 70% of the appendices are done.
Yeah.
And we should have those done, probably not this afternoon, but, very early, probably next Monday. And the thing is that one of the ones that we have is chapter 1, right? Appendix 1.
Appendix 1, Appendix 3, and Appendix 4.
Right. And which is the one that's kind of
Go to the
60?
details later.
Okay.
Appendix 1 is the one that it's really long because we have all the surveys of the different languages and the flyers that we did for.
Okay, so that's the public outreach one.
Yeah.
So I'm not seeing any public members here to provide comments and feedback. So with that, I'll close the public hearing portion of the meeting. Is that okay? Everybody good? All right. So we move on to item. We do have a quorum. So again, public comments in terms of the meeting, not specifically for the pending document. On item number 3 of the agenda. So, no, I didn't see anybody either. So next item is number 4, approval of minutes of the September 16th meeting. The copy of which the draft has been provided to you. Any comments, questions before I entertain motion? All right, entertain motion.
Approval. Second.
Second, okay. Ryan made motion, seconded by Kevin. In questions, comments? All those in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, very good. Thank you. It's approved.
Right.
I'll go to item number 5 is really for the approval for the referral to the policy committee, which will meet next Friday. Final draft of the Bloomington Normal Metropolitan Long Range Transportation Plan 2050. So questions, comments, and I'll entertain a motion also.
So
Okay, Jerry make motion moving for approval referral and second.
I'll second.
Second. Questions, comments, discussions? Seeing none, in favor of the motion for approval and referral, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none. So approval and this item will go to the policy committee next Friday. Item number 6 on the agenda that which may arise. Any items things want to discuss?
Dan, you want to do your spiel?
Sure.
This would be a thing arising, so.
Yeah, it is. Pretty soon in December and January, I'll be looking to program the next funding cycle for 24. So between now and then, I'll be looking to everybody to, if you got any new projects between 24 and 28, I'd like to get them on the books so that I can fill up the later years and it won't have to work so hard when 28 gets here. As far as 24 is about, I got about $7 million program for 24 already, but it looks like one of the projects probably will fall out already. So I usually give between 17 and 18 million to throw around all the districts. So I got plenty of room for projects. Or increase old projects or whatever. I just know in this room, if you got a project with any MPA, it needs to be approved through here, just like usual. So I don't know if I covered everything that we talked about yesterday, Jerry, but if there's something that you want to throw out as a question, maybe I can answer it.
Well, I was just, was kind of updating for our project next year, looking at all the cost increase that have occurred. And so I was talking to Dan because we were trying to figure out the funding and if we could increase the STR allotment on our projects, or if there was, I was thinking if there was additional STU funds available because it's the Dammers Eaton Road that's probably like 2 miles of it's in the MPO area. So I was actually asking Dan if there was any money available to use on that project along with the STR dollars, just because we're probably like 500,000 more on this project. And it's a HSIP project with safety shoulders on there. So it's all kind of increasing all together. So, and I didn't know where you guys stood on your projects. I know you guys got a couple projects in the works too. So I didn't want to necessarily take any additional money, but I was more thinking that there was some available. So, I mean, this could be a later discussion, but I think we just want to kind of throw it out there that it's a possibility as we start moving forward here, because we have to have plans and a PSNE down at the district by December 23rd. So probably no more then.
Right. So just to let you know, looking at some of the numbers for STU, it looks like Bloomington Normal is getting around just a little over $2 million a year in allotments. And of course, if you're not putting any projects on the system, then just the money keeps going up. So if you're wanting to know what kind of project I'm looking for, I think maybe at a minimum, we should plan on spending roughly the allotment every year. That way, the cost or the amount you have isn't going up all the time. But I realize it's kind of hard to do a project for $2 million as wide as some of these roads are. So, $2 to $4 million would be a great project. I know City of Champaign has been working on Prospect Avenue a lot. Most of their projects I'm writing are around that spot, between $2 and $4 million. So I think that'd be great to at least stick a couple projects in that, at least on the STU side. I think STR is just kind of it's flowing like it should. It's where we have our ups and downs, but we're not going in a negative very much before we get a next allotment. So with the MPO being at a high number that it is, I would expect that you would at least want to spend to that number. Going in debt wouldn't necessarily be a necessity for the group, because I can allow up to 5 years of allotments to do a project if it was super big, but then it really cuts into my entire district's program, as we talked about before. So a smaller municipality who only gets $200,000 or $100,000 a year, they may need to go into debt that 5 years to make themselves enough money to do a project. So any questions on that?
Would it be possible to send us out the latest, list of projects that are on the books and the kind of the balances? Because am I right when I say that when we consider all the projects we got on the books, we're kind of in the hole, but we just haven't spent any money because we're just trying to get our projects off the ground?
Yeah, I've Jennifer and I have been working, we got a list here at the table that we're kind of holding on to, but that list I usually send to you guys anyway, so I can send it out later today to show you what's on the list.
And that's just STU, right? If
Yeah,
you've
the
got
STU.
STU as well.
And I got Jerry's there too,
Yeah.
so,
Gary, you generally take care of STR, right?
yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I know that my portion of the entire picture is just really small, but I need to spend some of my money too. Keeps me busy. So,
It's nice to hear. And, we've talked about this many times, and I think everyone understands that you've got the balance to keep in terms of the MPOs in the district. And, it's nice to hear that Champaign is doing well, but we'll try and muscle in on that at some point,
okay.
if not already.
Okay. All right, yeah. Okay. Anything else? Anybody got any, I can take a project anytime, just fill out the BLR 17100, that request for programming sheet. Of course, I know you gotta go through here eventually, but that'll help me get it in the books. And that also, believe it or not, that one piece of paper helps initiate getting that project into our program so we can start processing environmental stuff. Because if it's not in our system, our district environmental coordinator will not even touch the project. So if he gets an ESR in and it's not in our database, he sits on it and waits. So, yeah. So, all right. Are you gonna be available after the meeting? Yep. Okay. So we can talk about Hamilton Road. Okay.
All right, any other items we want to raise, talk about? Anybody on the screen? Yeah, go ahead, James.
Hey, everybody. I plan to try to be up there, but as you know, life happens. So I had some stuff come up here at the office, but I plan to try to be up there next month for just reporting out on the final draft of the planning review that we had. And Ray, I'll try to schedule something to sit down with you and Jennifer just to kind of make sure some things are in order. And I know we got some follow-up questions on some other stuff. Also wanted to highlight the annual obligated projects list. And I hopefully get that wrapped up here pretty soon. I know we got it out to you late this year, so I think we're kind of expecting those within the next few weeks or so. So I know our hair is on fire about some other things. So just wanted to kind of remind about the annual list that was sent out, I think, a few weeks ago or something like that. But I think we're trying to give folks till about November, I think. So at about a 60-day window to try to turn those around.
Yeah, we are working on the maps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And James, we've sort of scheduled this to be done by the end of this month. So
Okay.
we can offload it like some other things.
Well, yes. Yeah. I know it's just one of those things that kind of gets added to the duties as assigned list outside of some of the other things. But also wanted to remind that Smart Grants NOFO went out and that closes on the week of the 15th, I think, of November. I think it's the 18th, I believe, if I remember correctly. So just wanted to kind of remind, let me check the date here just to make sure. Yeah, the 18th, Friday, the 18th of November.
Yes.
If you're interested in applying for Smart Grants. So I think there's other NOFOs that went out as well, but it's hard to keep up with everything. So that was the latest one that I saw. So just wanted to kind of remind you about that. Any questions or anything?
No, thank you. On the smart grants, just so you know, meaning MCLPC, along with some local partners, we are working on an application right now. So we do intend to submit an application. There are a few other partners we want to explore, and have some discussion with, including IDOT. And,
Yeah.
so, yeah, but it just, kind of, a lot of moving pieces is a pretty, I want to say kind of complicated, application, trying to, use technology and community issue, but we have a project in mind. Yeah, so we're working on the application.
Yeah, some of these, I know we talked about this a little bit up at the fall planning conference. It's just, there's a lot that's out, but it's really just being selective and intentional. So you don't overload or drink too much from the fire hydrant with a straw, So, but yeah, just wanted to highlight that, and there's some other notices that have gone out. So, yeah, any, if you have any questions, just let me know.
Okay. Will do. Yeah, we have, as I said earlier, so next Friday, the policy, that's when the Metropolitan Long-Range Transportation Plan will make its final stop before its approval.
Yeah, that's a critical, that's what I wanted to highlight. That's a critical moment of our life right now, because we don't want to possibly have to tip frozen or anything. So the approval shouldn't be a problem for next week, but as you know, that's an important deadline that we have to get over the finish line this month, or we run into some problems in next month. So thanks for all your hard work, and looks like we're really close. So
yeah, it's really been a team effort. Really, it's a team effort. I cannot emphasize that. The official deadline in terms of process really is the end of November, but we have built in and have been accomplishing toward our kind of arbitrary deadline of October, end of October, and for next Friday. So if everything goes smooth, then we should have an approved document by next Friday. Anything else? Anybody? Good. Thanks, James. Though.
Yeah, this is Bob Ennis with IDOT and planning. Just real quick, I've mentioned this before. We're updating our state freight plan to be completed early next year. In doing this, we're doing some freight forums with all the districts. I believe District 5 meeting is next Thursday afternoon. With that, we're going to have our competitive freight program call for projects. So we'll have $50 million annually for the state for freight projects. We'll also have an intermodal component for marine and rail along with that. So if you can participate in those, I'd recommend that. And we'll have that information out soon for that call for projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Very good. Anybody else got anything? Yeah, exciting time on projects. Yeah, a lot of activities. Yeah. Okay, seeing none. Our next scheduled meeting for this committee is November the 18th, and so yeah, we'll send agenda out prior to that, and it will be before the Thanksgiving, I think. Yeah.
Because of Thanksgiving, we may wind up doubling up the technical and policy committee meetings on that November 18th date, because the usual date for the policy committee would be the day after Thanksgiving, and nobody will be here. So it's either that or wait until the 1st of December. I figured we might as well get it out of the way.
Yeah. So we'll send an email out to everybody and just to confirm how it's going. All right. Any other items before we adjourn the meeting? All right. Entertain motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Kevin and then Jerry. Good. Those who are in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, thank you, and thank you for, good meeting, we'll see most of you maybe next week, some of you,
There is that.
thank you.